Hi guys, welcome back to the Clack Shack. And there's been a few of you, and you know who you are, that have been really persistent wanting to know more about my camera setup that I use on lightburn. Now, when I first got this camera, I did a little quick video because I had people asking, people just wanting to know. But at that time, I was kind of still on the fence as to whether I wanted to keep the camera or not. And after a couple of weeks of using it and burning these little boxes that I'm making, I've been using it multiple times a day. I have decided that the camera is here to stay. It works great for what I needed. It's low profile, out of the way, fairly cheap, and it does what I need. So the camera is here to stay. And I had a few people asking me about if they got this camera, how to go about mounting it and that type of thing. And that's an issue because the camera is, I'm gonna put a picture of it in the video here in just a minute. But the camera is a very basic. It's a camera on a little small board, and it has the cable coming off of it. It's very low profile, out of the way camera. So the problem was it doesn't come with a mounting solution, and to mount it, I had just used some 3M adhesive and just kind of pressed it up there and stuck it. The two downsides to that is to take the camera out, you risk, having to pull it loose, and you could cause damage to the camera by bending that circuit board. The second risk, of course, is that when you put it up there, if you don't get it exactly right, then you've got to pull it loose and reposition it. It was just a pain. And so I didn't want to go to, referring people to use this camera and then everybody have to deal with those headaches that I discovered in the initial install and my use of it for about the past month or so. So today's video, I'm going to show you, I've come up with a solution for mounting, and also I'm going to show you the camera. And as a bonus, because I get asked this a lot and I don't have a video currently that does it, I'm going to show you how to go about calibrating your camera and getting it set to use in lightburn my way. Now, you pretty much have to follow the directions, so it should be everybody else's way, but I'm going to show you the things that I use and the way that I do it, and kind of just walk you through, because I have just got through swapping my camera out from the sticky adhesive mount that I had it on to my newly constructed mount that I've got. So stick around for just a minute, and I'm going to get everything repositioned, and we'll go over the parts and show you what it's all about. All right, guys, I'm going to be off camera for a second. I wanted y'all to be able to see what I'm doing here. So this is the little bracket that I came up with, and this bracket is constructed entirely from 3mm acrylic, and I can send you the link to where I get this stuff on Amazon. So this is just a burn file that I built out. It has 2 holes, and each hole is a slotted hole, and they go different directions. And the purpose of that is if you have any fine tuning that you need to do to twist this thing to get it exactly right. I mean, hopefully most of us can get it really close the first go, but I did find that it needed some movement to be able to fine tune it so that you can get the image the way that you want it on your machine. You'll need one of those. This is a 3M adhesive that you can buy at most parts houses, Walmart, places like that. And the way this stuff works, all you've really got to have for this is you want to cut you a little piece of this stuff. It's very sticky. They use it in the automotive industry to hold like trim pieces and stuff like that on the cars. And then what you'll do on this piece, I've actually built out almost like a cross. And what you'll do is right in the center where these two go together, just put your little piece of adhesive on there and get that nice and stuck to it. And then you'll pull this red layer off, which I'm not going to do because I'm going to actually give this to a buddy of mine who has an X tool. And so I'm going to go ahead and prep this one for him. Mine's already in place over there, and I'll show you how mine looks. But then you take the camera and you sit the camera using these little lines that are burnt into it. Use those for alignments. Now you'll notice that in the center there's one that goes this way. And I did that so that this is the center of this workpiece. If you want the lens of the camera in the center of the workpiece, then you use that little box, line it up with the camera on the camera module as you press it in, and that'll get your camera in the center of this workpiece so that when you mount it, you know that the center of this is where your camera is. And the only other thing that you're going to need is some little Phillips head screws like these. These are number 6 by 1/2 inch screws. They're just little tiny. I mean, and chances are you've probably got two screws that'll work laying around your house. It doesn't have to be these specific screws. The holes are 3 millimeters in diameter. So as long as the screw will go through the hole and won't, be too much for the material you're screwing into, it should work. I designed this for those of us who don't necessarily have a metal or fabric. This is more or less for to go to wood. You could make it go to aluminum. You could take this and attach it to the little arms, however you want to do it. I mean, you could actually take a couple of zip ties and attach that to about anything you wanted to attach it to, if push come to shove. But more specifically, I designed this thinking about those of us who have a wooden enclosure. So that's what you get on my little burn file that I built. That's what that is, and it's for this camera. I'm going to show you how mine is set up in my machine with this little piece of material, and we're going to go run through the calibration process right quick. There it is, guys. That's what it looks like inside my enclosure, mounted to the roof. There you go, right there. All right, guys. First of all, I want to show you this is the camera view that I used. I used the camera app on my PC to get the camera set where I wanted it and get everything square and lined up. And I wanted to make sure I had it evenly spaced. And as you can see on both sides of the honeycomb, the camera is even. So that's what I was shooting for. So this would be what I would recommend you use to do your alignment and get everything aligned on the camera. When you first do the install and actually install the bracket, use this little camera app. It makes it easy because it's really real time and lets you see everything that's going on over there. So, but once you get that done, you've got it in here, you've got it square, you got it the way you want, then you're going to go over into lightburn. And in lightburn, for those of you that may not know, and if you do know this, like I said, you feel free to hang out and watch, or you can got to, your choice. So the first step is going to be to calibrate the lens. All right, this SIT USB camera, it has a standard lens, and I'm just going to run the full calibration. All right, so now you're going to need your handy little sheet of paper with the polka dots on it. All right, so once you get the first one, you're going to want to get you have to get a score of less than, I think it's 0.1 right here, to be able to even proceed. And I don't know that it matters how many times you capture and what your score is. I don't know if this is like golf and you want the lowest score or what. I do know you want a low score, but I don't know that it particularly matters how low the score goes. But anyway, there we go. Got a 0.23. It says that's great, which I'm guessing great means go to the next step. So we're going to keep rocking through this. And you'll notice, guys, one thing that I noticed with some of the other cameras is in certain places, I would get a higher score in the center. Like I'd get a lower score, technically, in the center than I would around the work area. And so that's kind of common from my experience, is that you're not going to get as good a score in these off corners as you would in the middle. See, there's a 0.35. Not bad, it says. So I'm going to go to the next one. Like I said, I have learned no need of being overly particular with this. This little guy right here works pretty good. And I haven't had any problems with it not validating or not passing this test. I've had to do it because y'all know me, I like messing with my stuff, and I'm constantly moving something or building something, so I've had to recalibrate this thing 6 or 7 times so far. So you just run through this, and now we get to do the corners. And you want to make sure you orient it the way that it shows on the picture. Don't try to go in the opposite direction, it won't work. So I'm going to keep going. 0.54. Oof. 152. See, these corners tend to not be as accurate. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I know where it's wanting me to go next, and I keep just trying to move it. These corners tend to not be as accurate as the center. And there's the computer right now is doing some kind of math to try to come up with an algorithm to make this camera work. Now, this corner up here, which is going to be the next one, let me go ahead and hit the button. This corner up here, you may have to move your laser head to get it out of frame, but you just want to lay that right there in the corner. And my understanding of this is it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do have to do a capture in all 9 quadrants of the bed space. And so now we go to this corner. Oh, this is monotonous. All right, so that's that. All right, the next phase of this, guys, if you're ever at home and someone gets a package in the mail and it's a very large cardboard box, my recommendation, let me put my little polka dots back, guys. You know I can't leave stuff laying out. My recommendation is never throw away a perfectly good cardboard box. And the reason is at work the other day, they purchased a new refrigerator, and it had this huge box. And of course, I had to have the box. And you're fixing to see why if you'll watch your screen. This is why, guys. This particular little test right here, I have found nothing that works better than a piece of cardboard box. Because you can cut this stuff as big as you want, and then once you do this with it, you can throw it away. But save them. All right, so I'm going to use that camera. All right, this cardboard has a thickness, I'm going to say roughly the way I have it laying in there, of 4 millimeters. All right, and then I'm going to leave all this stuff the same. Now, I did have somebody the other day that was having an issue with the print was larger than the capability of the machine. I'm going to go ahead and point out there's a scale right here, guys. You can do 150, or you can do the 185 like it was, but I usually just leave it at the 185. That works for me. And then I'm going to frame this, and you should be able to see what's, just took my camera off. So I'm just going to frame this, and of course it's going to take up pretty much the entire work area. And as long as if you cut it, little tip here, if you cut your cardboard too big, you don't have to worry about it, because it's bigger than the workspace of the machine. And that's what I did. I cut this piece of cardboard. It's huge. The one thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that your laser is focused on your work area, especially when dealing with cardboard, because cardboard will catch fire on you, guys. All right, so we're focused, and I'm gonna go ahead and let this start here, and see how long it takes it to burn. I'm going to be running my air assist, because I always run my air assist, and that's why I've cut 15-hour-long burns recently, and my air assist is not stopped up. I have no degradation of my cutting ability. It's working great. I've never turned it off. It's hard for trash to get up in that hole when there's constantly air going through it. All right, guys, we got the pattern burned on the material. So now the next phase of this operation is just to hit next. All right, now it's going to ask you to capture an image, and just capture that image. You should be able to see, which this camera, the only downside, if there was one, to the way I've got it on there, is a little bit of the very, very bottom edge of my workspace is kind of halfway cut off, but I don't use that area for aiming, and if I had a couple more inches to go up with my camera, I could probably fix that. But I had to come up with a balance of what is too high, what is too low, and what I needed. So if that's a concern for you, if you use this camera, you may want to mount it a couple of inches higher than what I did to pull that field of view back a little bit so that it'll encompass the entire thing. You can see right there, that's the laser head there. So I'd go all the way almost to the edges of my workspace, but what I did is I went with an elevation on the camera to where I could see the scale and I could see the edge of the honeycomb, and I really concerned myself if I couldn't quite see here, because for alignment, for what I used the camera for, that wasn't really a concern. So the next step is you've got to click these little markers, and if you've done this before, you know how this works. I like to zoom as tight as it'll let me, and because y'all know I got this OCD-ness about me, and then just mark the center of those where they cross, and it's pretty much that's it. I mean, you just want to try to get those guys. See, this is where being OCD doesn't pay off, guys, because I gotta have it in the center, and then get this one. It's almost like a little puzzle, little game. Kind of reminds me of Asteroid. Any of y'all old enough to remember that? All pixelated. Well, hello, Guinea. Guinea's coming to visit. She's still a little mad at me about taking her chicks, but she would have killed them. She killed the last one she had. Alright, so there's the end result. Now, it used to didn't show this little square, but I'm guessing the last update they dropped that in there, but it's pretty neat. And then you just hit next, and voila, you're done, it says. So now what I'm going to do, just to, because I'm going to throw this piece of cardboard away anyways, we're going to play around with this camera and just see what we can do here, guys. So I'm going to update the overlay. Alright, so what I want to do is I'm going to take this little circle that the program made, and I'm going to put me a circle. Why is my circle not working? Oh, it is. It's just, I got it on my acrylic cut from earlier. Lightburn needs to do a little better with the colors too. That color does not show up very well. Alright, so I'm just going to put me a little circle here, and I'm going to try to get it on top of that existing circle. Let me, okay. Alright. And I'm not going to run it that power setting because that'll start a fire. So I'm going to set that right there, and I'm going to run that power set. I'm going to see if we actually hit that other circle that's on there. And you can see what's happening over here, guys. Alright. That looks pretty close. Oh, you're not going to see it. Let me change this up. I'm going to do a quick little shading on it because that little small line just didn't show up at all. And I will tell you, when you're doing this test for the laser, you know, cardboard, a lot of times the cardboard isn't going to, vacuum table on. Cardboard isn't always going to lay flat, so a lot of times I actually do this with my focus way out. And that's one more reason why I try not to go too slow, because with the focus way out, cardboard going too slow, you're going to start a fire. And for those of you that don't know, that's Guinea over there. And that's how you get Guinea to be quiet. Make her think she's about to get swooped by a hawk. Alright. So now I'm going to update the overlay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that cut off so that we can see what's underneath it. Look up there, guys. Straight off of the, I came straight out of the calibration process. All right, we're going to do a little bit of a targeting test on this one. I'm going to drop a piece of wood on my workspace, and I'm going to update the overlay so you can see that little piece of wood. The little piece of wood is right there. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and this is going to, I'm going to kind of pretending here, I got that rigged off on. Kind of pretending here that, let's say this is something that you're wanting to engrave, and you're just wanting to use the camera, which, by the way, guys, I don't recommend always 100% trusting this camera. I don't care what camera you got. I would still frame, especially if it's something you care about. Now, lining up material and overlaying stuff, I mean, it works awesome, but I would still frame under most circumstances. But what I'm going to do is let me change that to a engrave. I'm going to try to put a dot in the middle of that little piece of wood right there without framing or anything. I just threw it up there, and now we're going to hit the start button and see if we can do it. Oh, I forgot to take that line out. So I'm going to do a line first, then I'm going to put a circle on that piece of wood. I forgot that guy. Alright. So go back to camera. Update overlay. So you can't tell it's updating. There it goes. And see, that is a very small circle, so you're looking at 5 millimeters. So I mean, and it's way over here in the side of the workspace. So don't take these cameras for gospel. I mean, they're a very good tool. They're very useful, but always frame just in case. But anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful to you. And for those of you that were asking about my camera, the new setup on the camera system, that's it. I've got I got it mounted. I got it the way I want it now. So all is well, and the little camera is here to stay because it has done me a really good job so far since I've had it. So thanks for stopping by, guys. And like I said, hit the subscribe button on your way out if you don't mind. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, grumbles, complaints, whatever, drop those in the comments too. I try to look at all the comments and reply, and I'll try to get back with you when I can. So. But if you have any ideas for videos, let me know. It's going to be a busy week coming up, so I'm trying to dump a few videos so y'all have some stuff to look at, and then I got to get to working on my other projects. So thanks for coming, and have a great day.